The Bikes and Stripes community here at Willow learned of a program earlier this year called the Ladder Up. It was developed by Silouan Green, and we had the opportunity to go and hear him and learn more about what the Ladder Up is and how it serves our military and brings hope to people. We were so impressed that we invited Silouan to Willow Creek next month, January 12th, we'll hear more about it in a moment, to share it with those in our area. Silouan is here with us tonight to help introduce the Ladder Up and our military support group. He is a former Marine and helped develop the program in military bases around the country. Would you welcome Silouan Green?
Thank you very much. Let's see if I can adjust this. There we go. It's a real honor to be here this evening with you all. So many veterans and loved ones and heroes. I'm sure many of you sitting here are well aware that our military, whatever branch you serve in, spends millions of dollars in years to prepare you to be a warrior, to prepare you to be a soldier. And it spends literally a couple of days and maybe a few $100s to prepare you to be a civilian. In my work around the country helping vets all over military bases, VA hospitals, churches, I see the effects of that myself every day. Just last week I was in Las Vegas, Nevada, speaking to a convention of police officers. After the first break, an officer came up to me and he apologized for being late. He had received a call 5 minutes before my talk began that a young former Marine had just went out to Red Rocks outside of Las Vegas and killed himself. The same police officer began to tell me about some other incidents he'd been part of, one of which, just a month prior, he'd been called to the home of another young Marine who had killed himself, and going through some computer files, going through some paperwork, talking to the young man's wife, he discovered that that young Marine was the 9th Marine from his platoon that had served in Afghanistan to have killed themselves till they returned. This is a problem that affects all generations of veterans. 18 veterans a day kill themselves. It's very hard, again, when you've been trained to be a warrior and you've been deployed at any time in our history and you come home and you're trying to answer the questions of who am I, how do I deal with that, how do I unpackage that, what do I do next with my life? And there are lots of different organizations and groups that do things to try to help. But what we've lost as a country over time is a sense of community. It's not like World War II when a vet comes home and he's got his small hometown and his small church and his friends that he knows and he's integrated into them, and those are the things that allows him to live. Many vets get isolated, they don't like talking about what's happened after they're home, and they just keep it inside, and eventually those things that we keep inside are going to find a way out. I've had the real honor to get to meet Cindy and Allie and some people here that want to do something about it. Because if a church like Willow Creek cannot do something about it, nobody can. And I know that because I see it. We have to do something. And the whole point of my program is just to help get a veteran or their family members to begin to open up and understand how service affects them. They might have been deployed, they might not have been deployed, they might have been in combat, they might not have been in combat. But how that affects them, what they can do to overcome it, and then what they can do to begin to step forward. And it only works if once a vet's begun to go through that process, he has a community of people to walk with him. And that is what military care here at Willow Creek is doing and is going to do. Everyone in this room can get broken. Every one of us. And we live in a world now that when we get broke, it does everything it can to make us ignore it. Drugs, iPads, iPods. It wants to give us distractions to avoid facing our brokenness. And what I have found is that when you really change your life, and it can be a life, it can be an organization, it can be a church, is when you face that brokenness and realize you have nowhere to go from there but up, and to begin to build your life that way. That's truly when amazing things happen in your life and you meet other people. There's not a vet I've met around the country who I've developed a relationship with that I don't keep in touch with that still isn't part of my journey, and that I haven't learned that when you start stepping forward out of that darkness, amazing things happen. So I would ask you, I would challenge you, I would implore you, I would get down on my knee and beg you, come to this event on January 12th. Bring a loved one, bring a veteran, whether they need help or not. Become part of a community of people that is going to do something about this problem. When I tell you, I meet a police officer that went to the home of a young man who 9 men out of his platoon have killed themselves. That should be enough to get anybody to act. And again, you know, I'm sorry I got to be the Debbie Downer of a night like this, but I'm passionate about this, I'm excited about this, and I'm so grateful and thankful for the opportunity to be here and talk to you. So hopefully I'll get to see you all on January 12th. If you look on the back here, I think Cindy has got some information where you can go and register. I believe it's in the morning. There'll be music and me talking, and we'll explain more what we're going to do. So thanks again. It's good to see some familiar faces. God bless all of you, and thank you, Willow Creek, so much for all you do for our vets.